This is a simple story about a small, forgotten park in the city of Fort Smith. It was overgrown and overlooked, though thousands of eyes passed by it every day. Those who did notice saw a hopeless wilderness with no logical place to begin reclaiming the space.
Well, it looked like it was a landfill. I went into the bushes and got all the bottles and the trash out of them.
Horribly overgrown. It was an eyesore, to be honest. I walk and run through the park just about every day, so I come down the street, and it was an embarrassment. And I thought, so when Greg Smith mainly decided, we were going to do something, we were going to adopt the park. It was fabulous. It was just unbelievable. Now I know we had some neighbors concerned that we might be doing too much to take, some of the privet and things out, but we did have connections with the park. Mike also told us what we should take out, and so it's been phenomenal. When you can look across and see from 31st to Old Greenwood, it's just amazing.
In 1991, the Dogwood Trails Audubon Society recommended that the city name the nature area for a former Darby Junior High biology teacher. Ruth Armstrong had inspired many students through her own lifelong dedication to learning, observing, and preserving wildlife habitat. Care of the nature area was much more work than the Parks Department could manage, with no funding for new construction projects since 2007 and operating budgets that continued to be cut. Non-native plants had choked out the hardwoods and the original trails. Then, attorney Greg Smith, who lives near the area, pulled together a coalition of volunteers and professionals and shared the original vision for the nature area.
It all sort of came out of the Trails and Greenways committee that's part of the Parks and Recreation Commission, and also the Park Partners group that's our 501c3 group that helps us to raise funds for projects. They saw that we were lacking in some funding, so by mobilizing the volunteers we were able to accomplish some trail work and also work here in Ruth Armstrong Nature Area that we wouldn't have been able to accomplish on our own through the department and through our budget. So it came out of Trails and Greenways. We had a leader that was passionate about the projects. He grabbed a hold of them and engaged with the neighborhoods that are here. We had scout groups, corporate sponsors, quite a few different groups got engaged in these projects, the trail project as well as the Ruth Armstrong project, and everything just came together for us.
Weekend work crews regularly included neighborhood residents, Boy Scout troops, Civic Club volunteers, and crews from Comprehensive Juvenile Services working off court-ordered community service.
We'd come down here on Saturday mornings and meet, and the neighbors come down, and it was initially bring your choppers, your rakes, anything you have that can help clear. And we had those kids come, and you just kind of shepherd them through some of the cleanup. So it's been awesome. Any people, anytime somebody says, "Oh, we'd like to come and do a project," it's like, woohoo,
Eagle Scout candidates led reconstruction and repair of benches, a bridge, and a gazebo.
The gazebo was actually, I played over here as a kid because I grew up right down the road. I mean, right down the road. We'd always come over here, and I've recognized that the gazebo was in complete and utter disrepair. The roof was caving in, it looked like it had a tilt to it. I felt sorry for the poor person that was gonna sit underneath it and have it drop on them. So I decided to ask around and see if that was a legitimate project, and sure enough, it got approved. And I rebuilt it to a point where I feel comfortable with people sitting underneath it if they need to take shelter or if they just want to hang out.
I know with the Scouts, they used architects and engineers to help design the bridges and the pavilions that we needed. They used corporate help that, like with backhoes and things, some people with expertise in how to make our ditches flow and how to put things together so that they really worked in the final end of everything.
Volunteers brought their own diverse skills, from organizing youth groups and recruiting assistance from private enterprise to simply showing up on Saturday mornings. The city's Parks and Recreation Department provided resources too.
We've got the urban forester that knows about which tree to cut, how to trim the trees, things like that. We have landscape specialists that know which plants are good in certain situations. We want to plant the correct trees, the correct plants in the right locations, and so we have some expertise that we can give to the groups and to this group as they work. We also use the Trails and Greenways master plan as our guide. We have specifications for how the trails need to be built and where they need to be built, so we followed that plan also so that we were accomplishing work that really meant something and will become a part of an even bigger plan. So the volunteers were accomplishing work that really mattered and really makes a difference in the community.
The revitalized Ruth Armstrong Nature Area is the visual representation of what's happening in this neighborhood. It's tangible proof that area residents, businesses, and local government representatives can and do collaborate successfully every day in Fort Smith.
I think anytime, it's a quality of place thing for me. It is part of your neighborhood, like I said, and I think I did look into that. I thought, this whole adopt a park or adopt a spot thing was fantastic. And so while some things might seem overwhelming to a neighborhood, and this did at first, when you see how overgrown it was like, oh my gosh, where do you start? But I think anybody that lives in a community or lives in an area that has anything, be it a little corner that needs, a little bit of beautification. I'm a big thing about that, the whole beautification of the city. I think it's important that we take a responsibility that would alleviate some of it from the parks and recreations. I think that's just something we need to contribute.
Mike Alsop points to 3 specific success factors that will work for any volunteer endeavor.
One of the first things is having that leader that has the passion for the project and has the motivation to keep the group moving and going, keep it focused on accomplishing the work. Because it is something that takes time. The trail project took over a year. This project's ongoing still. Will take a couple of years to accomplish, and then it'll need maintenance after that. So the leader is very important. It's also important to have something that draws the people together. In this situation, it was the neighborhood. The neighborhood right next to us here was interested in seeing Ruth Armstrong cleaned up and like it should be. The trail project was right in the middle of a neighborhood and they took ownership of it. So proximity for a neighborhood, a business, a civic organization, anyone that would like to help us with volunteerism. I think finding the location is important as well as the leader, and it could be something if you're interested in cycling or jogging or walking or something like that, then trails would be what you would be interested in. It's finding an interest that the people have. You may have dogs, and so your interest may be in helping at the dog park with doing some things over there. So we have a lot of different opportunities. We have landscaped areas, medians all over town that we take care of. You may be into gardening and want to help us with improving some of the medians and things that we take care of. So the interest that people have, leadership, proximity to where they live or work, those things are some of the important things that we see are important with mobilizing volunteer groups.
By recognizing the hidden beauty and potential of the Ruth Armstrong Nature Area, the Fishback Neighborhood Association has helped us understand something: that cooperation between citizens and city adds value to our community and, quite simply, makes Fort Smith better for all of us.
Well, I think, you live here all your life and you take advantage of some of the parks. I commented just the other day about the steam train running in Creekmore, and I got so many people that said, oh, I remember back when, the park, the swimming and the music and things. So it's a real nostalgic thing for me. But then I did think it was my aha moment was last year, and in being involved with the Citizens Academy, and I realized that all of my life it was a take thing from the city and never a give back thing. And I think it's important that as citizens of this town that you become a little more responsible and actually step up and make it your town.
Neighbors responding, giving back together.